Hey guys, so I'm going to show you a lesson that we're missing or have to skip due to being absent to this day. So when I'm doing this lesson, please be paying attention, taking notes as if I was teaching this lesson in class, okay? So you're going to see me doing a lot of back and forth because I need to write on the screen. So here we go. So I'm going to put this Nearpod code up on Canvas and through Remind so that you can see this. So that will be the code. So you can go ahead and write this one down. We'll use that code to review and study the notes. Okay, so let's preview the example. So you do need to actually do this. So here you're going to fill in the blanks on your own time, okay? We'll have to take the quiz that we miss later on. So we're talking about similar figures today. Okay, this will lead us to our next lesson, which is about dilations. So we have to understand three things: corresponding sides, corresponding angles, and finding missing sides. That is a big thing we need to understand. So similar figures, things that are similar. This is a big definition. Things that are similar are shapes whose angles are congruent. What does congruent mean? Equal. Whose angles are equal and their side lengths are proportional. Now, we've done proportions this year. So if I would set up a fraction, that means both proportions would be equal. Both fractions will be equal if I set a proportion with their side lengths. Another word for this is scale factor. And that's the big thing we're going to be learning next class. So here I have two figures, okay? These figures are similar figures. That's what it tells us. Because they're similar figures, I know that they have congruent angles and proportional side lengths. Now, this is how I determine that the side lengths are proportional. First, I need to figure out which side corresponds with each side. So, for instance, look at side AB on the smaller triangle. This is side AB. Which side on the other figure corresponds with side AB? Well, they're both facing the same direction. So this is pretty easy. But another way to determine is at A, you see that it has one loop, and at B it has two loops. So same thing with LM. So these two sides correspond. Let's see, what side corresponds with BC? Take a second and look at the other figure. Which side corresponds or matches BC? Good, you're right, MN. Okay, let's keep going. Which side corresponds with CD? I'll give you a second to figure it out. Notice I'm color coding here. NO, perfect. Which leaves us with the last one, AD or DA corresponds with LO or OL. Now that we know which side corresponds with what, we can set up proportions to see if the proportion match. So let's do the proportion of the red corresponding sides. So the red corresponding sides, I'm going to do the small figure over the big figure. And if you remember, if we do small over big on this side, we need to do small over big for every proportion. So the small figure side, I'm doing the red highlighted side. The small figure on the red highlighted side, it says it's 5 units big. And then the red on the big figure is 25. Now, that equals 5 over 25 equals 1/5. Okay, so we're trying to see if each one matches that. So let's do the yellow side. Remember, we're doing small over big. So the yellow side is 7. The yellow side on the big figure is 35. Well, if I reduce this, that is also 1/5. right, let's look at the green side. I'm not going to write this one down because it's the same thing. It's 5. The small figure has 5. And the big figure has 25. 5 over 25 is 1/5. Same thing with the blue. The small figure has 7. The big figure has 35. So all sides reduce into 1/5. Therefore, the scale factor here, or the proportion, is 1/5. So I hope that made sense. If not, rewind and go back, okay? So let's keep going, okay? So on your screen, when you actually go to this Nearpod, this is to draw it, and I want you to actually draw which sides correspond. So I actually want you to write down which sides correspond. So for instance, side GH corresponds with side DE. And if I set up a proportion here, GH is 20, DE is 15. That reduces into 4/3. I'm going to do that for HJ. The side that corresponds with HJ is EF. That's 24/18, which also reduces into 4/3. And you can find the last proportion as well. Okay? We want to know if these are similar. Well, we know the angles are congruent. I'm just going to give you that information. But then you need to figure out which side corresponds with which side. Okay, so this is also another drawlet that you need to submit in order to get credit for the Nearpod. Here's also another drawlet that you need to do as well. Okay, so you're noticing there's a lot of drawlets here that you have to do in order to get credit for the Nearpod. Okay, I'll do this as the last example for you on corresponding sides. So I'm going to do the small over big. So I'm doing small over big. So on the small, ST over, let's see what side corresponds with ST on the big figure, MN. ST is 8/12. Okay, and I want you to do it for the rest of them. So like which side corresponds with TR? NL, that's 10/15. And I want you to reduce your fractions. You can use a calculator here, or you can just reduce it by what number goes into both of them, okay? You even can use this. So side MN corresponds with ST. Side NL corresponds with TR, okay? And I want you to reduce the fractions to see if all the sides are similar. Last thing that we were supposed to be doing today is setting up proportions, okay, to find the missing sides. So I'm going to go ahead and screenshot this so that I can use this. Okay, I want to set up a proportion so I can find the missing side. Well, let's go ahead and figure out which sides correspond. Which side corresponds with 4.5? X, right? And which side corresponds with 6? 4. Good job. And then yellow is 7.5 and 5. So I'm going to set up a proportion to find my missing side. My missing side is X, so I need to use this one. So 4.5 over X is equal to, well, if I use the big figure on top for this proportion, I have to use the big figure on top on the other one. 6/4. So I did the blue equals the green side. This should look familiar from what we did a couple weeks ago. We need to do what here? I want everyone to think, or pause the video real quick to think about what you need to do. That's right, we need to cross multiply and solve. So 6 times x is 6x equals, goodness gracious, 4 times 4.5 is 18. And then I need to divide both sides by 6. That gives me x equals 3. So the missing side is 3. Okay, Okay, so here is the same problem. So this is for the rest of the period, or for the rest of your time for homework. I need you to find the missing sides for each of the poles. If you're still confused after this video, please come and see me for help, okay? Awesome, guys.